May you have the tenacity of a three-legged mongrel and the boundaries of a pedigree black Labrador. So welcome to today's Greater Life CoffeeCast, and today with the pillar being the pillar of home that we are focusing on, my hope is that you have the tenacity of a three-legged mongrel and the boundaries of a pedigree black Labrador. Now, what on earth am I talking about? Well, yesterday I took my pedigree black Labrador, Oscar, for a walk, and he is super playful and kind and generous and loving, and I've never really seen him get proper angry with another dog. He tends to be playful and boisterous, and then if things are getting a bit heated, he just loses interest completely. And yesterday he managed to find somehow, from almost out the hedges it seemed, a friend to play with. A three-legged mongrel. It may not have been a mongrel. It may have been some like pedigree dog. I've got no idea what breed it was. It certainly didn't look like a pedigree breed. It looked like a bit of collie chucked in with a bit of something else. And it only had 3 legs. And yet they were playing like for literally 30 minutes probably, like going back and forth, like pouncing on each other, trying to bite each other playfully, all that sort of stuff. And they were absolutely knackering each other out. But this three-legged mongrel, it would not stop. And even though Oscar typically would best it, it just kept coming back for more. And I was just blown away. I was like, wow, this dog has taken its hits, life has given it some kicks, and it has just got back up, and it has kept going, and it has got energy and drive and determination almost unlike anything I'd seen. And I share this in the context of home, being that in our relationships, sometimes it takes us finding depths of strength or depths of courage, depths of patience we may not have known we had. And as I watched this three-legged mongrel trying to have its way with my Labrador, I really got a sense that if this beautiful dog can keep getting up and keep going in the way that it does, then pretty much none of us have any excuse for not really showing up for ourselves, for really showing up for those we love, and really showing up for the place we call home. And there's another part to this story, though, which is the boundaries that Oscar showed. Because every now and then, this three-legged mongrel would get a little bit ahead of itself, would get ideas above its station, and would try and kind of dominate / mount Oscar. And at that point, the snap came out, like Oscar was like, the message was, do not F with me. That is a no, basically. And so it was so fascinating to see that Oscar would, let this dog play, and they'd be giving as good as they got. But as soon as it crossed a line in terms of some of the body language and intent, Oscar's response was instant. Like, he knew he was stronger, he was bigger, and instantly he was just like, no. And I wonder how that is for you. Boundaries can be such a tricky one, right? Holding boundaries with ourselves around what we do and don't do. Holding boundaries with those we love. Actually being able to show up and say, actually, this is what I need, or no, this is what is not okay for me. And for many of us, those first forays into holding and setting boundaries are terrifying. Because in the past, for many of us, to hold and set a boundary, because of the quality of parenting we received, meant that love was withdrawn. That we experienced conditional love. That as long as we were, as long as we played along, as long as we were okay, as long as we did as we were told, we received the love that we wanted. But as soon as we said no, as soon as we expressed our desires, as soon as we stood up for ourselves, very often we received things like, don't you speak to me like that. Or, no child of mine would ever do that. You know, the kinds of messages that let us know that the love we were receiving was conditional upon our obedience and compliance. And so as a result, we learned very rarely to set boundaries, to hold boundaries, because that would have meant abandonment. And in watching Oscar, I really took on board that notion that actually there's probably very few boundaries that really matter. But those are the ones that must be held unequivocally. Absolutely. And in seeing the way that just Oscar allowed the playfulness to be present, and then suddenly, and then once the boundary was set and the other dog got the message, boom, they were back to playing again. And I think that's such an important piece in all of this as well, is to say that the setting of a boundary is an act of love, and that from that, greater love should flow on both sides, because both parties know where they stand. So today, as you go forward, may you have the tenacity, the energy of a three-legged mongrel, and may you hold the boundaries of a pedigree Labrador.